Hello, Enid. I'm Derrick Silas, the Director of Communications for the City of Enid, and with me today is Assistant City Manager Scott Morris.
Thanks for having me on, Derrick. Looking forward to talking with you about summertime, and for a lot of people, Memorial Day is the beginning of summer, and so there's a lot of things that are happening in Enid this time of year. So.
Yep. Speaking of Memorial Day, which was yesterday, being this is a holiday week, some people still may be confused a little bit about the trash pickup and the green polycart pickup. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we have begun picking up the green polycarts for yard waste on Mondays, but as you know, this week was Memorial Day yesterday, and so if you have your yard waste, put it out with your regular trash this week, and the solid waste guys will get it picked up along with your regular trash. But then remember, starting next Monday, then we're going back to the Monday route for all of the green carts for yard waste. So I know some people have been confused over the last few weeks, and we've wanted to put some more things about it and push it out there, but with Memorial Day coming up, we thought we'd wait till after today and try to remind people what the schedule is. The holidays throw a little kink into it usually, so.
Okay. And that's typical for any holiday. If it lands on any day of the week, that particular day, you will not be picking up trash or the polycarts, correct?
That's correct. You know, most of our green polycart schedule used to be on Wednesdays, but since most of our holidays are on Mondays, we've changed that around so that the yard waste day is Monday, and it makes it easier for people to remember, hey, well, I'll just put it out with my regular trash and everything is going to get picked up, and it helps the solid waste workers have the day off and makes things flow a little nicer just to have that on Monday, since most of our holidays fall on a Monday.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, Friday we had the storm, of course, and I know there's a lot of cleanup efforts that will need to be going on. A lot of limbs fell. So the question would be, when does that begin, and does the size of the limbs matter?
Well, we have crews that are picking up limbs right now. We started that on Friday. We've got 3 of those boom trucks that are going around picking up limb piles. Feel free to put your limbs at the curb that fell on the storm. Please try to stack them in neat piles, and if you could cut your limbs to 10 or 12 feet in length, that would be great. The truck can pick up some that are a little bit bigger than that, but it helps when they're not all so long. So try to do what you can. The maximum that we can take is about 20 feet. So if you have some long branches and long tree trunks, those are going to need to be trimmed for them to get fit into the truck. And so we do have only 3 trucks in Enid that can pick those up. So please try to have some patience with us when you put those out. We are going to do our very best. Hopefully we can put some additional resources out on that. If you have the ability to take them to the landfill, we will take them at the landfill. So bring them out there and we'll take care of you.
So I guess the question would be concerning the landfill. Will that count towards their 1 a month or 12 a year count?
Generally that's the case. So if you've got, most of us that go to the landfill, we don't utilize it 12 times a year. So hopefully if you've got a load or 2, that won't really impact you. So that will count towards one of your visits for the year. But for most people, I think they go 3 or 4 times a year to the landfill, and we want to be accommodating for those that are maybe in a bigger hurry to get the limbs off of their property than what we can get to with the clamshell trucks.
Okay. Another question would be, I guess, for the elderly. Many of them don't have the capability of cutting limbs. There will be staff that are available to cut those down to size if necessary, correct?
Well, we do have, the guys on the boom trucks do have chainsaws on the truck, but as far as dragging it from the property to the curb, we really don't have any City of Enid staff that are assigned to do that. So I would hope that some of those people that need help, they can ask for it from other resources. Perhaps they have a church or some other community that takes care of them, that they can at least have some help dragging it to the curb and maybe even cutting up a few limbs, because we really don't have people that we're just going to go on your personal property and start dragging dragging things to the curb. We're not really set up for that.
Okay. Well, we know that it's summertime coming here, and everybody loves the summer water recreation that we usually have every year. Of course, COVID-19 has kind of put a bad spell on that, I guess, whatever the word you want to use. But people are still wondering about the splash pads and the Champlain pool, whether or not they will be open, and if so, when they will be open.
So, as you may have been aware, the mayor and the commissioners have asked our city manager to do everything he can to try to open up Champlain Pool. And I know that we are exhausting those resources and trying to hire lifeguards. We're trying to get what we can together to find out if and when and to what extent we can open the pool. I know that they're currently working on that very hard. It is usually a difficulty to find the right amount of lifeguards on a regular year, and this year may be much more difficult. There are a lot of guidelines on what we need to do to make sure the pool is safe and clean, and that will also present some challenges, but we are working hard to find out what we can do for the pool. As far as the splash pads, we are hoping, we're working on a schedule for the splash pads right now. I know that it is our intent to open them this summer. Hopefully within a few weeks we'll have a date, or maybe even we'll be open in a few weeks on splash pads. So we're working on that really hard. The pool will be more of a challenge. The splash pads, I expect they'll be open hopefully within a few weeks, but working on the schedule.
Okay. I just want to remind the residents that you can go to ena.org/careers and apply. Still have positions for the lifeguard. And it'll have all the qualifications on there. I know one of the qualifications, they have to be 16 years or older. And I think at the current moment, well, at least a week and a half ago, we only had 2 of the 22 lifeguards that we needed. So that was part of the reason why it's not open as of yet. Now, coming next Monday, June 1st, we'll begin the second phase of the 3-phased plan to reopen the economy. Tell me about what's going to be in that phase.
Well, phase 2 includes a lot of you that are excited about athletic leagues, things like that. You know, we'll have youth sporting events, baseball, softball, things like that that are going to be happening outside. There are a lot of special events that are going to start happening. You'll see more events at the park and downtown, things of that nature. We've already opened up the bars. We've already opened up a few other things that were originally in phase 2. So you should see more of that. The Stride Bank Center is open and doing a few more things. They're having some meetings inside. They're still not having conventions, and they're still not having concerts yet. Although, if you look on Stride's website, they do have a listing of all of the activities that a lot of them have been rescheduled for the fall already. There are already dates on there. And so I would encourage those of you that may have bought tickets to something that was canceled to check that site and see if it's been rescheduled, or go ahead and purchase tickets for an event coming up in the fall. That will be during our phase 3 plan. But I think we're looking forward to a great summer, and you know, the rates as far as COVID-19 exposure has maintained and stayed pretty low, and I think if it stays on this pace, hopefully this community will be looking good to keep doing more and more things for the summer.
Okay. Now, in the beginning, even before the 3-phase plan, we had a couple of emergency declarations, and in which we waived the penalties for utility services, water utilities, and cutoffs. Will that continue, or how will that go in the second phase?
So another thing for phase 2, on June 1st, the administration building will open, and our library will open. A few other resources like that have been closed will be open on June 1st. And so business will resume as normal in the administration building. We've been open the whole time and helping people over internet and over the phone and things like that. But yes, starting June 1st on utility payments, we will be issuing late penalties, and we will start to send out some cutoff notices. And so if you have had difficulty paying your utility bill, we're not just going to shut your water off on June 1st, but we will begin to send notices out. So you'll still have at least that 10-day notice that you may have had in the past. And so I would encourage any citizen that has had trouble that gets a cutoff notice to find help. Catholic Charities and CDSA, we've talked about this on the show before, but we've received several $100,000 from the CARES Act that they're going to be administrating some funds on paying utility bills and rent and other things like that. So any citizen that's struggling during this time, if you get a cutoff notice from whether it's a City of Enid utility or one of the other utilities, I would definitely make an appointment or walk into CDSA or Catholic Charities and talk to them about how they might be able to help you with your bill.
Okay. There's a concern, this is concern more about sanitation around some of the businesses, saying that some of the trash blows, or is there any talks or thoughts about how we can get the business to maintain their trash fences or what have you? Has there ever been any discussion about that? Or I know this may be new to you because it's new to me.
It is a little new. Most every new business that is out there commercial, we require a dumpster enclosure. That helps with the problem. Okay. And of course, residents and commercial customers are supposed to be bagging their trash. And really, I would say that is the biggest thing that anyone can do to help trash from blowing is if you just simply will bag all of your trash, then we won't have it blowing around in neighbors' yards and blowing around the street because it'll be contained in the bag. And so many times that is an issue. We live in Oklahoma. It's very windy here. And even a trash truck that's got to lift that, whether it's a dumpster or a polycart, it's got to lift it over to the top of the truck to dump it in. And the wind can catch it. So that's one of the best things we can do is just urge our residents and commercial customers just to bag their trash. That will help out a lot. Okay. But if you do see blowing trash and nuisance problems, you can report that through C-Click Fix or call it into our code department. If it's an issue that's really with a property owner, we can address that through our code department as well.
Okay. There's another question about nursing homes, but I think the nursing homes are in a different venue. They're not regulated by the city as per se, correct? The question was concerning about when would people be able to go visit back again. I guess that's what the question is really about.
Our phase 2 still has, and the governor's phase 2 as well, still has nursing homes listed as a place that should be restricted and no visitors. So hopefully we'll get to a point soon. I know a lot of people have loved ones that just are desperate for a visit, and so I would encourage people to try to be creative on how they can do that. I've heard of some people that will use FaceTime or some other video communication with their loved one, and even I've heard some people that will meet at their window, and so they stand outside of their window and just talk to them and let them know that they're there and let them see them. And so try to be creative. I know that your loved one really wants to communicate and see you all. So hopefully soon we'll be back to doing that.
Okay. Are there any other updates or comments you need to make to the community?
I think that's it. Hopefully we will continue to do well here in Garfield County and the City of Enid. So, do your part and hopefully we'll continue to get through this. And I'm really hopeful that in the next month we can look back at all of this and it'll be nearly over or over. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I hope that's the case.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for joining me today for this update. Thank you.
Thanks, Derrick.
All right. And thank you, Enid, for joining us. Tune in with us this Friday at 1:30 p.m. to hear an update from the Garfield County Health Department. Thank you and have a blessed day.